What's up, everybody? I'm Dreadful Gooz. I'm here at the new Murder the Mix Studios, and today it's all about my guitar collection. So rather than make this one super long video, I'm gonna break it up into, I guess, an episode for each guitar. It should be absolutely no secret by now that I am a guitar nerd and just studio nerd or music nerd, whatever you want to say. But I love guitars. I love talking about them. I love geeking out about them and talking about specs and pickups and, strings and all that stuff. So I'm going to be sharing some stories with you about how I got the guitars, when I got the guitars, what I've done with them and the projects I've worked on with them. And like I said, we're just going to nerd out and have a good time. Last year, I promised myself that I wouldn't get any more guitars. I was like, I have the best 3 guitars. I don't need any more. And well, this year alone, I think I've gotten like 4 or 5 more. So let's get started. Let's get to it. All right, so this is my Goozzilla. Now, obviously, it's a BC Rich. I'm a big BC Rich fan, and that's basically all of my guitars are BC Rich, with the exception of my Ibanez bass and my classical. And I have another guitar in here that I guess is like a little bit of a surprise, but that actually belongs to a buddy of mine, and I'll be demoing that later on in the series, I guess. All right, so this is my BC Rich Goozzilla, and it is the Goozzilla because there's only one of these guitars, and there's only one of me. What makes this one special is that it was a pre-production model that I guess never made it to the final line. Why? I have no idea, because in my opinion, this thing looks way cooler than any of the Shredzillas that they got out right now. But I guess that's cool for me because I can say I have one and you guys can't. If you want to see a cool video about when I first got this guitar, I unboxed it and did a whole video, and it got a lot of hits. It got I think like 32,000 hits, so that's pretty cool. So thank you for all of you guys that watched that and subscribed to this channel from that video. If you haven't seen that video yet, then I'll put it on a card somewhere up here, and I guess I'll put it at the end of this video as well, so you can check that out. All right, so let's talk more about the things that make this guitar special and different from the production models. So the neck that I have on this guitar is actually thicker than the other Shredzillas. The neck on this guitar is about 1 millimeter thicker, and I personally like that because I like a beefy, chunky guitar neck. I like thin guitar necks too, but I don't know. I guess I have pretty big hands, so they fit well in my hand when the guitar is just a little bit rounder, when the guitar neck, I should say, is a little bit rounder and thicker. So, I personally like that. And some people would also say that, having a thicker guitar neck increases the sustain or tone or whatever. Maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not going to argue because there's a whole debate with that nowadays with the guitar community about like tone woods not affecting the sound. And I'm not going to get into all that. But if it does do that, I guess that would explain why this guitar sustains and resonates so much, even before I did the mods. And I'll get to the mods in a second. So the current production Shredzzillas are spalted maple, or I think it's like a satin black finish. And now they're coming up with a couple of other different colors like purple haze and all that stuff. But what I like about mine is that it's walnut. So it's a walnut top, and you also have the walnut on the headstock as well. I think the new necks are a 5-piece maple with ebony stringers, or I think they're ebony stringers. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a 5-piece neck. My neck is actually a 3-piece, and I'll do some close-up shots so you can see that as well. I believe from talking to some of my other friends that have purchased these Shredzilla models, some of them being from my video, which is pretty cool. I think mine is wired a little bit different. I think theirs, or the production models, are bridge, then neck, and then tone. But mine is neck, bridge, and then tone. Another thing that's so freaking cool about this guitar is the Inlays. I love, being a huge BC Rich fan, I love the diamond inlays. Why they're not using the diamond inlays on all the production models, no idea. But I'm lucky that I have them on mine. And I really, that was like, it was one of the big selling points for me. I was like, I saw the diamond inlays and I saw the inlays that were being put on like the other guitars. I was like, man, I want that. I want that one now. Here is, in my opinion, one of the coolest things that I've ever had on a guitar. I've never had this on any other guitar. I've never even seen it, really. I guess, I don't know, maybe you guys have. I haven't. This is another thing that they should start doing on every single BC Rich model, period. Because this thing is so freaking cool. It may not seem like a big deal, but when you strap this thing onto your chest and you feel it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And exactly what I'm talking about are these recessed strap locks. Again, I'll get some close-up shots so you can see this. These things are so cool, man. Like, the guitar is used to, normally, the guitar will hang from, you know, the strap buttons. But there are no strap buttons. It's right, like, into the guitar. What makes it so cool is that your guitar really is right up against your chest, and you really get to feel like the instrument is part of you, which I think is really, really cool. Paul Gilbert talked about his, I think it's called the Fireman guitar, and he talked about how that big horn just like digs into like his chest, and he's like, I can really feel the guitar. And that's what this thing reminds me of. It's really, really, really cool, man. Now, I have done some mods to this guitar. They're not major, but they do make a major difference as far as sound. You can't see any of the modifications. It's not like I swapped out pickups, which, by the way, shout out to my DiMarzio family, because these are some of the best freaking pickups I've ever heard. I love them. In fact, I may try to get another set of these, you know, either from the folks at BC Rich or from my DiMarzio family. So there's that. But again, with the mods, I went under the hood of this thing and did a couple of little changes. So let's take that one to the bench, and I'm going to open this thing up so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, man. So let's get under the hood of this thing. All right, so here you can see some of the things that I've done to it. This is a must-have for anyone who is a Floyd Rose user. This thing is absolutely badass. It's called the Tremolo No. Some people think that it's a tremolo stopper. It is that. It can do that, but it is not only that. That's why this thing is so cool, because all you have to do is reconfigure these little buttons. It takes literally like seconds. You unscrew it, you move it, and you screw it in, and that's it. And it allows your bridge to be either a hardtail, a dive only, or a full floating tremolo. This thing is freaking, like, it's the best. Like, if you have a Floyd Rose, you need this. And I didn't know how much I needed it until I got one. Like, now when I do string changes, I normally hardtail my bridge anyway. I just like the feel of a Floyd Rose. People be like, oh, so why have a Floyd Rose? Because I do like the feel of a Floyd Rose. It's what I grew up playing. And before I found out about this thing, I would, you know, always have my tremolo engaged. So if I wanted to do dive bombs or squeals or whatever, I could do that. But getting back to the tremolo, this thing is amazing. Like I said, you can literally go from full floating, dive only, to hardtail in a matter of seconds, and you don't have to do any modifications onto the guitar. I was gonna get like a stopper, but I was just like, you know, this is a one-of-a-kind guitar. I don't want to start drilling stuff into it. Let's start drilling holes into the guitar. And so I was like, you know what? The tremolo no is the best thing. Also, check out this really, really nice brass block that I put in, courtesy of the guys from Killer Guitar Components They make some amazing Floyd and guitar upgrades. Definitely check them out. Hit up Rick and tell him that Gooz sent you. And while I'm giving out shout outs, I have to give another shout out to the awesome folks over at Red Blanket Guitars. They sold me this beautiful, amazing guitar, I believe a year ago now. I think it's been a year. And, you know, we've kept in touch ever since, and I really, really love everything that they do. Go ahead and go over to their Instagram and their website and check them out. Now, one thing that I wish they did do on this guitar is push coil taps. I really don't like push-pull. You know, it's just too much of a pain in the butt, especially if you're doing like really quick shredding and things like that. Like, I don't know. I may end up putting push pots into the guitar. Not sure. It's not a deal breaker for me though. But I am going to end up disengaging the tone knob. I never use a tone knob. I think it's pointless for me. Like, you know, I want to hear what the pickup sounds like. I don't want to take out the tone of the pickup. And if I want like a lower gain, I'll just either coil tap it or just lower the volume. I don't really like playing with the tone knobs. Not my thing. They definitely serve their, you know, they have their place for some players, but not really for me. So I'm probably going to disengage that and just have the coil taps and the volumes, and obviously the 5-way switch. Here's that close-up of the neck that I promised you. Trying to show, you know, or see if you guys can see what I can see here. See what I can see. And also, again, these diamonds are lethal. They are bad ass. As always, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow all my social media links down below. Peace.